This is Women in Music with Gfire Podcast, episode number 20 with singer-songwriter MJ Torrance.
Pelota roja, ¿dónde está?
What does that mean?
It means red ball, where are you?
Good for you. What a great way to celebrate the first minute of our podcast. MJ Torrance is here in the house.
Right on.
In his house, yeah.
Thank you, Gfire.
How you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Got colder, grayer.
Yeah, I don't mind the cold. Nice change. It is cold and kind of gray, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good day to create or practice or whatever.
Yeah.
Or make a podcast.
Or make a podcast.
Yes, let's do this. So, where are you originally from?
You know, I hail from Michigan, but we really weren't there very long. As a child, I grew up pretty much down in Galveston territory, a little place called Lake Jackson, 40 miles west of Galveston. So down on the beach, amongst all of the industry.
Oil industry, right?
Oil, yes, lots heavy industry down there. Shipyards, ship channels. So just everything about the coast that goes on, bringing the stuff in, and yeah.
So very industrial.
Very industrial, yes.
And are you the only child? Do you have a sibling?
No, I have 3 brothers.
3 brothers.
I have 2 older brothers, and I have a younger brother. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I'm kind of like the middle child. Thank goodness I'm a girl, I guess.
Yeah, you got the...
I didn't have to suffer so much being a middle child. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there you go.
And when did you move here to Austin?
So I went to UT when I went to college.
Okay.
And then just decided Austin was going to be my home. So even though I ventured away, I've always come back. So yeah, college, UT, that was in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Worked at the Cactus Cafe.
Which is still here.
Which is still here. And I just went to visit my very, very dear friend, Chris, who is still bartending there and bouncing since the
amazing.
80s. Yes, indeed. He's amazing that he even survived it. Because, I mean, I was just there like 2.5 years. And, I mean, come on. Oh, my goodness. Cactus Cafe. So just all the musicians coming through there. It was just incredible. And just, you know, of course, alcohol as well. So, just couple of
good experience. Amazing experience.
Amazing. Just, you know, I mean, I don't know, come on. I was in college and I'm working at the Cactus Cafe. And
you were bartending?
I was bartending and it just threw me into songwriting. I mean, I'm watching Lucinda Williams. I'm watching Sean Colvin. I'm watching all these amazing people come through here and just Lyle Lovett and just completely, I'm just, you know, was just, drawn and just loved it and loved all the people, loved the songwriters. I mean, it was just amazing. And yeah.
Is that when you started songwriting?
It was. It you know, I was super shy. I was actually going to school in, I was a science and math girl.
Okay.
So growing up on that nice industrialized beach, I went right into being a chemical, I was a chemical researcher coming right out of college.
Okay.
Or like not out of college, like during college. I was like doing these residencies at Dow. And then I started working at the Cactus Cafe, and I had a really great boss at Dow that said, you know, I can't fault you, and I can't give you a bad, you know, rating or anything, but wouldn't you like to be doing something else?
Wow.
And it was the first time anybody had ever really looked at me and said something like that, and I thank him. I can't even remember his name, but all of a sudden I was like, well, hell yeah, I want to be doing something else other than being in this freaking place. Because, you know, even back then, I can tell you, I actually could see how just mathematically we were going to come to where we are today. Mm-hmm. And even part of my motto, like I became the singer-songwriter all of a sudden, not because I thought I was any good.
Okay.
But because I thought, well, I can use this, or I can at least live a life, and maybe it'll be I don't know, just different or honest. Maybe I can like leave less of a carbon footprint. I literally did a couple tours on a motorcycle because I just felt like
Because
I
you
can't
got so
be
much,
wasting so much gas. And this was in the 90s.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've been a climate realist for an awful long time, and didn't want to add to it. And I'm sad where we're at today with all this. We could have given up fossil fuels so long ago. Anyways, whatever. Here we are.
So
there you go.
So you ended up, did you quit at Dow?
I did.
Okay.
The guy, he said that, and I was like, man, you're right. And I actually then I switched my degree. I got a theory degree in music.
Well, that's good.
Exactly.
You said, you know what? Dow's not really for me.
It's not for me. And then my world just kind of slowly kept opening up. I just kind of kept slow. I was a slow awakener, but just coming from where I was, real conservative, whatever, Texas. But just kept waking up and waking up and waking up. And I'm really glad I chose music. It just gave me this really kind of incredible journey. It's my journey, and I just sort of feel like music was my vehicle to sort of just go through this life.
Well, did you have any music lessons growing up?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, I took piano lessons when I was a little kid, and I was in the choir in school. Wasn't really encouraged much as far as choir, and piano I was kind of encouraged, but there just hits that point. You're like, I don't remember 6th grade. You just want to be out with your friends,
right? You don't want to be inside,
me hard. Right? And I don't know, and just blah blah blah. But then I was good enough. I played for my church when I was in high school. I played for the early service.
Nice.
So I'd, play my Stairway to Heaven and Dream On as just
at
like
church.
Pretty tunes just for like introductory benefit. Yeah, I played rock and roll, but
wow,
just real pretty.
So nobody was really going,
they loved it. They all
loved
like,
it?
oh, you just play so pretty. Well, I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't singing it. It's not
right.
Like, so mostly, I mean, it's beautiful music if you're playing it on a piano.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, come on. So
that's amazing that you got away with that. That's really funny, actually.
Me and my best friend used to go into the church all the time because I had keys then.
Yeah.
We would crank up the organ and...
So you can play organ as well?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, okay.
I mean, people don't know all the time.
I am not an organ player.
I
can put organ
aren't.
parts on demos. And that's as far as I'll go. I mean, I've played some organ parts on my stuff that I produced.
Okay.
But, I'm not going to say I'm an organ player. I can play piano pretty good. I'm a, meat and potatoes electric guitar player.
Okay.
Pretty good acoustic player.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Just kind of keep trying to bring all that together
Absolutely.
into something, which I guess maybe one day I might find out what that is, but
I think you're finding it. We were talking about this is all just a journey.
Right. It is.
Well, let's get into what you were talking about. You said right now you're doing this really kind of different thing, this performance art thing.
Well, yeah. Okay. So at this point in my life, I've recorded many, many albums. And what's happened is I was invited to tell a story at the Spider House Ballroom.
Okay.
And
how long ago was this?
So this was a couple years ago.
Okay.
I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. But it just made me realize I do have all these stories. And it was very entertaining. It went over really well.
Nice.
And it just immediately began me wanting to kind of, meld the music, the storytelling together into just, so now I'm presenting myself more as the Diaries of Maggie Jaguar. And I just kind of allow my storytelling and my music to sort of flow together so it's a little bit more of a show, and I can do episodes kind of, depending on what kind of a story you want. I can kind of come up with a story, if you will. So,
well, what fascinated me was you said you started by playing the drums, right?
Okay, so my dream, yes.
Your dream
So I've started
scenario.
working this out. So my dream scenario is, yes, I start on the drums because I actually start from groove when I write music. I really, to me, the groove is the vibe, and it kind of sets me on my emotion. So that's how I actually want to start presenting my stuff to the audience. First, just me and the drums.
Right.
Boom. Yes.
And
then I just want to. Okay, so how I'm doing it right now is I'll maybe play on the drums, but I've also got my keyboard set up. So then I'll maybe tell some story, link it in. Maybe I play a piano song, or maybe I play a guitar song, whatever. It depends on what is going on or what I'm trying to do or what audience is. And then hopefully what I'm trying to do is like actually have a stage production to where like the players will join me as the song develops and the story develops until at the end it's just a rock and roll experience. Bam.
Well, you were saying you would start on the drums, move to another instrument, but another guy could come up and start
so then
playing
like
the drums.
somebody takes over on the drums.
Right,
exactly.
exactly.
And then like, and the same thing with any instrument or whatever. They can either come in, they might not be taking over for me, but they might be adding
right,
or
as
whatever.
the show builds until...
Exactly, until like... And it might even wane. I don't know. It depends on the episode and it depends on the day. Because I've got a lot of material and stories to choose from. So
that's a good place to be in.
Right. It is. Because right now I can do it solo. And I'm having a pretty good time with it. Just doing some, like, you know, I keep kind of getting asked to do this show and that show. And it's kind of just, you know,
building
like
as you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just working it out.
We'll talk about the song that you brought in today. First of all, let's listen to the song first.
Okay, cool.
Now I've got some dreams, keep hanging on. Some that keep changing, some that are long gone. I only know I've got to keep on dreaming. Oh, you know, to see where I can go. And with a barrel full of compromise, oh, a heart that's tried and true, I can fall in love so easy, yeah, 'cause I can keep everything brand new. Some days all my dreams do nothing but come on true. Some days I'm flipping coins in a wishing well. Sitting on a porch, nothing much being said, except sorry things didn't turn out a different way. And I backed up, I said, oh now hey, I think that I'm okay. It's you, and you keep coming around me, pushing me down now. Oh, but I'll never hit the ground. And with a barrel full of compromise, oh, a heart that's tried and true, I can fall in love so easy, 'cause I keep everything brand new. Some days my dreams do nothing but come on true. Some days I'm flipping coins in a wishing well.
Okay, so this song is called Lucky Girl.
Right.
You want to explain that at all, or you just want it to live?
You know, it's more just, okay, the couple of things that I like to say about it. mostly it's the first song that I really orchestrated a piano part and a guitar part to it. And it was a place in my kind of career. I was going through a lot of injury and just stuff. So I was forced, it was really difficult for me to play guitar. So I was kind of forced to play piano again.
Okay.
So I'm having a lot of like this stuff, but
when was this?
So it was one of the first songs I started writing on a piano again after having, it's like more as a singer-songwriter. I picked up the guitar,
right? Girl with a guitar.
And I played in bands as an electric guitar player. I was like guitar. You can't drag a piano around. Okay, I screwed up my shoulders, especially like on one of my motorcycle trips. Just the constant clutching. Also, I was having some really overused, muscles and a lot of pain, and just the motorcycle trip was pretty difficult, I have to say.
Okay.
But totally worth it. But Lucky Girl is one of the first tunes I kind of wrote really back on the piano, like really back. I'm back on the piano, and I was feeling really, I was like, wow, I sure did miss you, like the piano writing. And it stands out because like it was a success, like one of my first real successes in producing a piano and a guitar part together that sounded like really good, and I liked it, and I was like, oh man, the song just came out really good in production, and it's on an album that like I'm very happy about, just production wise. In my I've always self-produced, worked with really good engineers and rhythm sections, and this one it's the one I kind of still go to is this album. It's Here to Here. And Lucky Girl is one of the ones that just kind of stuck out. And Lucky Girl is just that, that moment that I think anyone has at some point where you're just like, whoa, every day's a new day. Like, it was that moment when I realized, every day I can wake up and I can completely fall in love with something. I can completely just fall in love with something. And it doesn't matter what has happened before. And it just that realization diem just made me feel like such a lucky person, just to realize like, oh yeah, just like everything's a lesson, and you just got to keep going. And yeah. Oh, so it was a revelation point for me, and I don't know, and it's an evolution thing, because like singer-songwriters, everything's a work in progress. We were talking about that earlier.
Right, how songs can kind of grow as we perform them, morph into different things.
Or become, I'm not, and the interesting thing is that on the album that I recorded, which was like way back in 2004, I sing it in third person. But now today when I present it, I think I sing it in first person. Right, because I've finally been able to own it. It's just interesting how I used to write stuff, and I just used to write it, and I come back to stuff and I understand more why I wrote it now than I did when I did it, kind of. That's a common occurrence, so.
I think it is. I think, as singer-songwriters, we grow, and then our interpretations change as we change.
Well, and we're all kind of a bit of a fool in that we're not, we don't question so much. We really do just create.
Right.
And we allow it to come out, and so then there it is. And you don't like critique it or anything, or really look at it until later. Like, so it's a whole different,
different
viewpoint.
How many albums do you have?
So I've got 5 full-length albums, and then I've got like 5 EPs, at least, and I'm kind of blanking out right now. I'm sorry.
Well, this is all on your website, maybe?
Oh, totally. MJTorrance.com.
And it's MJ, and then Torrance is spelled TORRANCE.com. And I'm going to put that in the program notes so people can bounce over to your website. Right. Do you have any sorts of career highlights or cautionary tales that you'd like to share with our listeners, since you've got a bunch of stories?
I think for me, the cautionary tale is just like never, just don't ever get too rigid. To me, all the career highlights are just when I figure some little thing out, or like the career highlight is like just getting any of my projects recorded, or like when I do, to me, okay, like another big one was this album, Liberation.
Mm-hmm. Which is from?
The album, it's an EP. It's called Liberation.
An EP from what year?
So I think 2013 or 14.
Okay, is that
so it's a little bit
the
more,
latest one?
No.
Okay.
I've done a few since then, but I haven't really published them because, you know, the market is just weird. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out different ways of putting my stuff out there.
Are you thinking of...
that's why I'm kind of going toward more this theater thing and just, I don't know.
Are these the bulk of the gigs you're doing now, these more theatrical productions?
This year, that's what I worked on, pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not just doing a
but
bunch
I
of singer-songwriter?
keep little I do my little singer-songwriter stuff. I play out at the H Mart on Lakeline Boulevard every...
H Mart?
Yeah, the Korean market food.
Okay.
Out on Lakeline Boulevard. So I still do gigs anytime I can do a gig, a singer-songwriter gig.
Mm-hmm.
I do that too, but creatively, I'm working more toward the Diaries of Maggie Jaguar.
The Diaries of Maggie Jaguar.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we have to look forward to you, doing over the next couple of years, it sounds like.
Yes.
And you're thinking of different smaller theaters in Austin, such as...
I haven't even gotten there yet.
Because
the show is still sort of in friends' backyards.
But
or
have
like
you had
taking
other
advantages.
Musicians, like a drummer, come up and take...
Not yet.
You
no.
haven't had that happen yet?
Nope.
Because
I'm still, it's a lot of production work.
Right, and it costs money to hire other
Exactly.
musicians, so it has to be a good situation for that.
Right. Well, it's not something I have to say, I've never worried about money on any level or anything. This is what has always happened to me. When I have an idea and I want to put it forth, I figure out how to do it. And it's just, because I definitely have the money, is like, that's not going to be the problem. The problem is me understanding what it is I'm trying to put out there.
Well, I'm curious, how do you always have the money? Do you have a day job at this point?
I always keep a little day job.
Okay,
doing
like
But that doesn't, the music just makes the music run for me.
Okay.
I've got some sponsors that lay money on me.
Oh, that's nice. Can you share any more about that?
No, these are anonymous sponsors.
Anonymous? Are you on Patreon?
No.
But they're doing sort of
this
a
Patreon.
Patreon.
This is my fans. My fans take good care of me. My fans want Maggie Jaguar to happen.
Well, that's exciting.
When I do a nice backyard concert, I make very good money. That's not my problem. So I'm able to then take that money and invest in whatever it is I need to do to bring the show forward. So that's what I've got. But I still have to make the show happen. I just have to make Maggie Jaguar...
figure out what Maggie Jaguar is going to do next.
I need a little bit more consistency and I need to actually write more episodes and more stories. I've got several of them actually written down and have started to try to screenplay them and stuff like that. But so there's just tons and tons of stuff to do. So
right, and so you're just in that process.
I'm just in the process of making all that stuff happen. I mean, because you have to chart everything and
right.
I don't know, and I've never really done stuff like that. Was a very cool thing about the TV episodes I did this summer.
And they were just by yourself, right?
They were.
On public access TV.
Public access TV.
Channel.
I think it's Channel 10.
In Austin.
Yeah, public access TV.
And are these episodes up on YouTube?
So I believe 2 of them are.
Okay.
I believe that 2 of them are, but I couldn't get you there because it's not through me. Okay, no. I do have links on my website.
Okay.
Yes, I've got links on my website to other, I try to keep up with that as much as possible. If you go to my website, you can go to my Facebook page. I keep up pretty good on Facebook.
How about Twitter and Instagram?
No.
Okay. So Facebook
is it, and I realize that's evil, and I'm trying to figure something else out, but whatever,
Yeah, it's tough because we need it, so it doesn't really...
Do we need it?
Yeah.
I don't think we need anything, but whatever.
How did you get these sponsors? No Patreon, and they've been with you for years, it sounds like.
When I need something, they throw parties. They just
They make it happen for you.
They make it happen for me.
So they create your own special type of house concert, basically.
Kind of. And it's just more goodwill. I've been doing this now for a long time. And in fact, came to my little business through being a good musician person who stayed in people's houses. I kind of got known that I'm pretty easy with animals. So people, she can stay here if she'll take care of my dog or my bird or my blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And so that's actually my little business right now.
Is house sitting.
House sitting, pet sitting.
Pet sitting.
Take care of animals.
Well, I mean, it's just good to know what sorts of jobs we have to keep up. Because
and you have to figure that out too. If you're going to be a musician, that becomes like, you do have to figure out how to live. Because you're going to have really flexible hours. Like, and here's the best thing about being a pet sitter. The animals have never gotten on me for being late. They've never gotten on me. They don't care if I kind of change up the schedule a little bit.
Right, exactly. In case you had a gig
they're always
the night
happy
before.
to see me. I mean, it's just like so it's great.
So that's, I think, again, if
I've always been very handy to have around. Great painter, good carpenter's helper, tape and floater. So I've made a lot of money just painting houses. Really good, like, you got a wall with a big hole. I can make that wall look like it never had a hole.
You do drywall.
You have to do, Now, do I do drywall now? Not for nobody else. No, I'm too old. But,
but you have done that in the past.
Yeah, I've done stuff like that, sure.
Okay, I think it's good to know because, most of us middle range artists aren't making enough just by performing. Some of us are.
And I just really never tried to put that kind of heaviness onto my music. I thought, okay, I'm going to let the music if the music, I keep almost like my personal life separate from my actual singer-songwriter life. So
so it's just pure.
That way, I just use whatever is happening from the music, put it back into music. And that has just worked for me over the time now. I've got I don't have a huge fan base. I've got a very loyal fan base. I've got...
And is that mostly in Austin, or do you have other cities where...
Many cities, I was lucky enough to be traveling around and touring enough that,
Where else?
Across America, I'm there.
Where are some of the places you have your devoted fans?
Just all over the place, because I've lived, I ended up taking... I had all out on the East Coast for sure.
Okay.
North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Atlanta, New York, in
the city?
Yeah.
New York City?
I've been able to go up there so I was in a band. We just did a reunion up there a couple years ago.
Okay, what was the band?
Girls in the Nose.
Oh, that was very famous around here.
Right. I was a part of that a long time ago.
Okey
so we just
doke.
did a 25-year reunion and a couple years ago, and that was, I'm real proud of that. Like,
yeah,
I was a complete just rock and roller. I really was a very honest, just, musician. And I worked for a lot of other people. I try to help other people. I try to play for other people while also just trying to make my own self kind of go forward, learn. So like there was this time period I just traveled a whole lot. Like,
can we talk a little bit about Girls in the Nose?
Sure, why not?
What was that group formed here in Austin?
So that was led by Kay Turner. And
Okay.
Kay Turner, and basically what Girls in the Nose was, especially when I was touring with Kay.
Which was about what year?
So we're talking like, this is the 1990 to like 1992 was when I was in the band.
Okay, so 3
Early
years
90s.
basically.
Yeah. Kay Turner was a folklorist.
Okay.
And she was working on her PhD in folklore.
Okay.
And we were basically her dissertation. Because when we were on tour, she would also do lectures and things like this. We were creating our own mythology, if you will, like our own folklore, like using the rock and roll realm to go out and tell your story. But in a folklore, I don't know. What am I trying to get at?
Well, folklore is basically storytelling, which is what we're talking
right.
about.
And she was just really, it was a really great experience. Not so much for the stage and stuff like that. I mean, it was real typical band stuff. Everybody just, but what, But
you played some
Kay,
good venues?
Kay would like stop in between gigs at places like Indian Mounds and folklore people folklorists who had like little museums, but like really that was what was fun about being girls in the nose. Like
was just going to these little tiny museums.
It was in between the gigs. It was like the bucket of balls, like in Illinois, when you're just like midnight, have nothing to do, and everybody's just like going crazy in the van. Yeah, so that's and then
but none of the shows was really like I love playing in this city.
Okay, this is my thing. It's never so much been about the performance. It's always been more about the production and the songwriting and the working on the parts and I was never much of a performer at that time.
Okay,
I wasn't. I was really just very queer. I was just little MJ, just kind of. I did all these things and I played for people, but
that wasn't the big deal for you
because I wasn't that great at it.
But
I was great at it.
Okay.
I was. It's just so everything's a contradictory, a paradox. I was a great guitar player,
and did you
for her
sing?
And show person? Not so much in that band. No,
Not
I
in
was
that
just
band.
the electric guitar player.
Okay.
Kay was the singer. It was Kay's show.
It was Kay's show. And
that
it was just 3 years and then done.
Well, she still does it and did it for many with other incarnations. She used she went through several incarnations. Gretchen Phillips, I still think, plays with her a lot, and Darby Smotherman.
Where's Gretchen Phillips these days?
I too have not.
Okay.
I saw her at the reunion, and that was pretty much it.
Got it. So at the reunion, like a bunch of different versions of the band, all those people.
Actually, at the reunion, it was me. There actually has been several versions, like because we did some up in New York. So up in New York, that was Kay, Darby, myself, Joanna LeBeau, and we hired a bass player, and she was great, Mary Feaster.
From New York City.
From New York City. And
okay.
And she was so great. It was really fun playing with her. Okay, but when we were down here, used all incarnations of Darcy Douglas played bass with me and Gretchen and Darby again in one incarnation. But Lisa Wickware and Jean Dusoblin, they live on the West Coast. So Kay also hooked up with them and did some other reunion stuff with them. So she's sort of doing her own reunion things with different members of the bands all over.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you got to do the ones on the East Coast?
And some down here in Austin for sure,
Some down
too.
in Austin.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a nice wrinkle in your story because...
I've got all kinds of great wrinkles in my story. I don't know if you know, but I got to... In that same time period, I was like running around with Ani DeFranco and...
Well, let's listen to... Okay, so what's going on with that?
Well, that was just, another...
Were you just hanging out with her or playing with her?
Please, yes, I am just the luckiest person on the world.
Lucky girl.
Yeah, I'm a lucky girl. I was hanging out at home one day on my home
in
Austin, and she was in town. We'd done a bill together. We'd been put on a bill together at Chances.
At Chances, okay, which was
so Chances was iconic. It's not Chances anymore in Austin.
It's something else, but it's still there.
Right. It's still kind of there's a bar there up against that beautiful cliff.
Right. It's a beautiful venue in downtown Austin, and
so we were just put on a bill together.
At Chances.
It was the two of us that night.
Just MJ Torrance and Ani DeFranco?
Yeah, we were just doing a bill that night. A couple singer-songwriters.
Wait, was she already Ani DeFranco that everybody knows?
No, not so much here.
That?
She was other places.
But not here.
She was already... People pretty much knew about her in other places, but in Austin, she was just kind of getting known. There you go.
Okay.
At this point.
Around what year?
Once again, so this is 80s,
sure.
in the 80s sometime.
In the 80s. Okay, great.
Is when I met her.
And
let's
talk about that.
So she just came to my house one day when she was in town and knocked on the door, and it was after we had played, and then we were just really good friends for several years, and I toured with her a little bit too.
So you got to open for her in other places?
Oh yeah, like I took a tour out with her all the way to California and opened with her along the way. And she was like kind of, she really wanted to go. It was a good friendship. I wish I had been in a different place at that time, because gosh, I mean, the opportunity that was sort of like happening with me. I mean, I watched her get really famous.
Right.
But personally, I was just in such a different zone, if you will.
So you weren't trying to keep opening for her or anything to advance your career?
I wasn't ever trying to do anything. No, and especially not, because she was really Ani DeFranco. Mm-hmm. Let's just, be very clear. She was really great.
Yes.
So all it ever was just an honor to kind of be her friend and get to play and open. Mm-hmm. And I knew I wasn't on that level. Come on. She was freaking Ani DeFranco. I mean, she would just drop audiences dead. And I'm just starting out on my first, she's why though, please.
Okay.
I totally hopped on. She was just like doing it. And I'm like, you want to do this? Well, yeah, just do it. So I started recording albums.
Right. After your experience working with Ani.
Watching her do it, she was just doing it and not asking for the music industry's, permission or any, just finally she was just spearheading this independent movement. And it was like, I had no, it's like one of those things, you're watching this thing happen, but you don't really understand what you're watching.
Right.
Even,
until
or
later.
what you're even a part of. And look at what she just did. It was just blew the whole indie music scene open and taught me how to tour.
Right.
I mean, so even
what are some of the things you learned by touring with her?
I just learned how to take care of myself on the road how to,
including
just not die. I don't
not
even
die.
The road is wicked, and especially back. I mean, gosh. How to just really watch your budget, knowing how to knowing sort of like being able to how to vibe towns, like that are gonna be a place where you can maybe just vibe in towns along the way that you might be able to like really be okay to stop in or I don't know. What did she teach me? She just taught me to just look forward a bit and cast a line and go. So I just started doing that too. I was like, okay, well, if I go this way, I know I got some cousins here that if I'm in trouble, at least I can stop.
Okay, so that's one of the things you learned about.
In a way, yeah.
Okay.
Just learning how to like know where you're kind of at and what your what you've got going on. She taught me well. I mean, I survived 2 5,000-mile motorcycle trips that were tours.
That you did on your own?
On my bike. Yeah, on my motorcycle.
And about what year was that?
So that was like 93, 94.
So this is after Girls in the Nose. You did
after
a couple
Ani
of...
DeFranco, after Girls in the Nose. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why I quit Girls in the Nose. I was really itching to just go do my thing.
Okay,
I was finally kind of becoming in my own.
Right.
And so then, I just took off. And then I ended up in Seattle because... I had to get a factory job because I had to get some money.
Job in Seattle at one point.
Well, because I was completely broke and, So I was up. So then, I was gone for a while.
Okay. Yeah. And so how long were you in Seattle working at the factory?
Thank goodness, not long. I had some dear friends that were helping me just, make sure I wasn't going to. Once again, I don't know. I did the factory job for about 6 months, I think, though.
And then did you come back here to Austin?
No. Oh, geez, no. Oh my God. No, I got another job still in Seattle.
And you're playing shows in Seattle at the same time?
I found this kind of friend that played mandolin, Ellie. So we were just kind of scouring around Seattle area, playing just no real gigs, just open mics and small gigs. Just having fun. And then we started our own little open mic, just doing my thing. But I didn't do Seattle, mostly I was surviving.
Okay.
I got another job. Like I say, I was broke. I had to kind of get back on my feet. Got a job working at a hospital, delivering drugs to patients in their homes.
Interesting.
It was, here, once again, lucky girl. Mm-hmm. So for 2 years, I drove up and down the Washington coast and took ferries over to the islands and stuff like that. Was my job, delivering things to people.
That seems okay.
it was gorgeous. It was unreal, and it was like I got to travel, like and even see all this stuff, and it was a job.
Right.
And it paid okay.
Good.
But I had also fallen in love along that motorcycle trip.
Okay,
And love took me back to Montana.
And
backward.
How long did that love last?
Well, we're still together.
Super. She lives here?
She lives here in Austin, Texas.
At your house?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice.
We're still together.
For how long?
So this would be 23 years now, coming up on 23 years. So
that's pretty amazing.
So
for a musician.
We met. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
You met way back in the 90s?
We met in 94,
when you're on your motorcycle trip.
Yeah, we met in 94. And we didn't get together, though, until, what happened is we both ended up going back to the same music festival that we had met at.
Which was?
At Michigan Women's Music Festival.
In Michigan.
In Michigan. So,
okay.
But she lived in Montana.
And you were in Seattle.
I'm heading to Seattle.
Right.
So we meet. I actually stayed with her in Montana and went to Seattle. And just over the course of a couple years later, we meet back in Michigan and decided, wow, this is, let's put some effort into this. And here we are. So I ended up moving to Montana, stayed there about a decade, and
right.
And then we came.
And that brings you into mid-2000s.
So 2006 is when I moved back to Austin.
To Austin.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of completing the circle.
Yep.
And so you and her have been here for the last 13 years.
Yes.
Wow. See, that's another interesting thing people want to hear about, that some singer-songwriters actually have long-term relationships that work. Imagine that. So you don't have all these angry songs about...
No, isn't that nice? I don't have a bunch of angry songs about exes.
Your exes, you just have a really steady, wonderful...
Yeah, I just have...
long-term relationship.
No, I do have some songs about my exes, but they're really, really old now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So...
Well, do you have anything else you'd like to add for us today?
I don't know. Do I?
Did I leave anything out?
I don't know. We've talked about a lot. So.
A lot, yeah. We've kind of gone roundabout.
So as long as people know where to find me, www.mjtorrance.com. Just because I don't have anything steady. I'm just always kind of working on something new.
And, they can find you on Facebook or on your website. And if they need to contact you, they can say, hey, where are you playing next? And what I'm going to do, which I've never done before, is feature a clip of the recorded version of Lucky Girl.
Right on.
After our podcast. So you guys can hear both versions. The one-of-a-kind version we did right here in the studio, and also the recorded version of Lucky Girl with the full band.
Right on. And it's very different because it's much faster and it's orchestrated. So there you go.
I think it'll be fun. Well, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you, Gfire. This was fun.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Bye.
She's got some dreams, keep hanging on. Some that keep changing, some that are long gone. She only knows she's got to keep on dreaming to see where it is she can go. And with a barrel full of compromise, a heart that's tried and true, she can fall in love so easy, 'cause she keeps everything so brand new. And some days her dreams do nothing but come on true. Some days she's flipping coins in a wishing well. Sitting on a porch, nothing much being said. Except sorry things didn't turn out a different way. She backs up, says on. You see, I think that I'm okay. you. And you keep coming around me, pushing me down now. Oh, but I'll never hit the ground. And with a barrel full of compromise, a heart that's tried and true, she can fall in love so easy, 'cause she keeps everything so brand new. Some things are dreams, do nothing but come on true. Some days she's flipping coins and wishing well. And with a barrel full of compromise, a heart that's tried and true, she can fall in love so easy, 'cause she keeps everything so brand new. Some days her dreams do nothing but come on true. Some days she's flipping coins and wishing well.